Hey everyone, Al Fragnoli, Zach Sutty, legal leaders. We're changing it up today. We're going to do something a little bit different. Obviously, we always have a guest on. We've been doing this for about 8 months now, so we want to definitely thank all the guests that we've had these past 8 months or so since we started doing this. And we want to thank all of our followers. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching some of the episodes that we've done and some of the interviews we've had and Hot Topic Tuesday. We thank you for joining in on those too. So obviously with all the guests that we've had, almost a majority of them work in the sports industry. Obviously, Zach, you and I are both very passionate about sports, the sports industry, and leadership. That's another big one. So we're always talking leadership. We're always talking sports. So tonight, what we're going to do right now is just kind of chat a little bit about the importance of leadership and what it means for an organization, whether it be in the sports industry, outside of the industry, it doesn't really matter, just leadership as a whole. What does it mean to you? Why is it really, really important for organizations to have strong leadership? Zach, what do you think about that?
Well, I think for strong leadership, what it means is having a common goal or vision and leading a team of individuals to reach that common goal or vision. But leadership to me is also being very flexible and adaptable, because I don't think you can define leadership in one definition. I think leadership is needed in different types of leadership is needed in different situations. There's leadership in crisis. Just like there's leadership in crisis, you need to know how to lead when you're ahead and you're winning. So I think it takes different types of attributes or characteristics to lead those different situations, almost a chameleon, if you will, in how you adapt and are flexible. I also believe that with leadership, you want to produce more leaders. We've talked about this many times. For us, you're not a leader unless you produce another leader, and I think that's something that leaders do extremely well. Is they're selfless. They're servant leaders. They don't try to put someone down to stay at the top. They like to see others succeed and help others get there. And I think that's important for an organization. You've said it many times, and many of our guests have said it, that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You want to be a leader who builds a team that has a lot of different strengths, a lot of diversity, and you utilize those strengths to your benefit, and you are aware of your weaknesses and you fill those gaps with others individuals who may have strengths where your weaknesses are. So I think having that knowledge of who you are as a leader, who you are as a human being, being aware of your weaknesses, not avoiding them, and actually calling attention to them, and building a team around you to help you fill those holes, if you will. And I think that's what's important for organizations to be a a well-oiled machine, is to have a leader who understands all of that, and to help others become the leader that you are in that organization, and always encourage um, those in your organization to go on and strive for bigger things, whether it's goals outside of work, at work, whether it's on the court, off the court, referring to basketball at this time because of March Madness. But in those situations, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what they want and what they want to be successful at, and help them get there. And it goes back to my customer service days, or guest experience days, where you always wanted to build a relationship with your customers or your guests. And I feel you should do that as a leader with those you lead. You want to focus on them as individuals. And there was a great customer experience guru named John DeJulius, the Customer Service Revolution, a book he wrote, and he always talked about getting to know your guests, but I think it's getting to know your team members as well. Is remembering Ford, focus on your family, their occupation, their recreation, their dreams. If you can understand that from an individual, you have a personal relationship with them, and you can help them achieve, or at least understand what their priorities are, with their family, their occupation, their recreation, and their dreams. And that's something that I've always remembered, that when I'm a part of a team, or hopefully leading a team, that I focus on those things to make sure that I know who they are as a human being and help them reach their goals. But also, learning from them, and always being a learner myself, as a leader. So, what it means for organizations, I think it means the difference between being successful and not being successful. If you have a good leader, if you're doing those things, that I mentioned, I think you'll have a successful team. Whether it's just a department in your organization, or you're leading the organization. It doesn't matter how big or how small your role as a leader is. It's important to somebody. So um, I think that's what it means to me as a leader. What about you? What are your thoughts on leadership, and what it means to an organization to be a good leader, and what are some of the things that you find important to be a leader?
Zach, first of all, obviously, I love this topic. I love it. I know we're both passionate about it. I thought you shared a couple interesting things that I think are so true. You mentioned that you need to be adaptable, right, and embrace change. Um, I think empathy is a big thing. You got to show empathy for your people. Zach, you mentioned servant leadership. That's so true and critical too. I think some of the best leaders and the best companies and organization understand the importance of servant leadership. So, I think once you show your people that you're leading, that you care about them, and that they mean more than the bottom line to a company or an organization, and they know that you truly care about them, their goals, their interests, their beliefs, their passions, their family life. When you show that you care about every little aspect of their life, they're really going to do anything for you. So I think that, sometimes that takes a little bit of extra work, right? You got to ask a lot of questions. You got to spend time getting to know them. A lot of time, I think some of those bad leaders, all they want to talk about is how the company is going to become more profitable, and that's where I think you fall into a big hole, and sometimes you can't dig yourself out of, because once you show your people that you all you want to talk about is the bottom line, and how the company is doing money wise, which is important, but once you just start talking about that, I think it's hard to get out of that. So I think it's really critical for leaders early on, when they have new people on their team, or when they um, when they're maybe a new boss or a new manager in that specific role. The first thing you got to do is really take the time to get to know your people on a personal level. Show them they're important and that they matter. They're not just a number to an organization, but they matter as a person, as a human being. I think that is so critical, and I think that that's where a lot of leaders, I think, struggle with. So if a lot of leaders struggle in that aspect, or struggle maybe in a different aspect, whatever it is, I think it's important for the very top of organizations, whether it be CEO, president, ownership, whatever it is. It's important to give those leaders the opportunities to learn and grow, which you mentioned as well, Zach, is constant growth and everything. And that's through constant education and learning. So, making sure that it's important for organizations to make sure that they provide those opportunities for their leaders, and for the people that are leading their organization. Because if they don't, what's going to happen? You're going to lose people, and when you lose top performers, it's hard to replace them, right? And it takes time to do an onboarding program, and to train people, and really teach them the processes. So companies lose when they don't have good leadership, and when they lose their top performers. And unfortunately, I think that does happen with a lot of companies. So, to me, the biggest thing with leadership, Zach, is really the empathy aspect, and really just just show your people that that they matter, that you care about them. And that's done through a lot of fact finding, a lot of questions early on in that relationship between a boss or a leader and his team and his people. So To me, that's hands down the most important thing, the most important aspect of a leader. But I love that you mentioned, Zach, too. There's not one sole definition to what a leader is and what makes a good leader. I think there's so many characteristics that they need to have. But for me, those are some of the most important things. But these are obviously always topics that we love talking about. And again, all the guests that we have brought on so far are fantastic leaders. We've been blessed and fortunate, Zach, I think, to be surrounded by in our life with some amazing leaders. I think you can agree that a lot of the people and relationships we've built when we met each other with the Pittsburgh Pirates are fantastic leaders. There are a lot of people that we have brought on as guests here, and there's more Pittsburgh Pirates connections and people that we look forward to bringing on in the upcoming episodes as well. So leadership's important. We want to keep talking about it. We want to continue to thank everybody for tuning in every week to watch what we bring and the content that we share to you, because that's ultimately our goal, is to bring some uplifting, positive content through sports and through leadership as a whole. So we hope you continue to tune into our interviews and our discussions on Sundays, and we hope you continue to listen to our Hot Topic Tuesdays, where we chat sports and everything that's going on for the week in sports. But thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Continue to be rock stars out there. Continue to lead by example. Just continue to inspire people to do amazing things. Thanks.